Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. What I am saying is there are very important concepts. When you understand the concept clearly, then programming becomes very easy. If you do not understand the web mechanics, then you won't understand anything. So, right? So, like last time, the question was asked, I guess, by the Yasir or by the Yasir has just come up. I guess by the Yasir or by the Suhail or Amir. Out of three, somebody asked the question about the REST API, right? So there are the time will come when we discuss each and everything, because REST API is on the backend side, and the time will come when we have to discuss each and everything. And REST API, REST and RESTful API is a very important concept. This is how data is being transmitted, and but everything is built on the HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Before I start my lecture today, I should tell you that if you want to land into some MNC and great development job and all, there are few steps to go. One of you have to first put up your resume. There should be the resume shortlist, getting shortlists. Resume should get shortlists. This is the first thing you have to. So that means your resume should include the first thing, which is very catching. You should everybody listen carefully what I'm saying. Is important thing is what projects you have worked on. So when HR, they try to see the resume, they will see the projects you have worked on, you have finished, you are competent with. So that gives you an edge, number one. Number two, this course will help you crack the first round of, which is the coding round. Okay, but if you want to have a great job, a kind of where you have uh, big company hiring you, then there is not only the coding which is going to help you. There are two more things. One is the data structure and algorithm, and system design. There are two more things which you have to have in you. One is the data structure and algorithm. So I will tell you, the BC and MCA guys, if you are here, your data structure and algorithm, this is going to be the boss subject, and this will get you into some good because after the coding round, this because in this course you will be developing yourself things. So coding round will be kind of an easy thing for you if you go for the Mern stack for job. But later on, everything will be boiled down to data structure, algorithms, and system design, because in interview questions they ask questions, maximum good companies I'm saying, because good companies don't hire people who just know HTML, CSS, or REST. They know React and all. Everybody knows like that, but they need proper computer science students who have understanding, deep understanding of data structure algorithm. So data structure algorithm is going to be a boss subject. Keep that thing in mind, right? And system design. So there are three rounds technically in every MNC. Where is the coding round? There is also aptitude and all, and your presentation and all. That's very important. You have to have that. That's not a big deal. But apart from coding, because maximum times why our coders don't land into the big companies is because they concentrate on coding only. They don't concentrate on data structure and system design. Maybe I will give you a complete proper lecture with proper presentation on that, so that you will prepare yourself for the interviews and all, and how to crack those jobs, right? I have been in the industry and I know stuff from that side, so that is why that experience may help you. That will be maybe someday we take on, and we give the full lecture on that, because it deserves a full lecture, so that you have clear understanding how big companies hire. That's the one thing. Farzan Ashraf is having some hand raised. Do you have a question? Yes, any question you can ask.
No, sir, no, sir.
Okay,
Good one.
no issues. Entire screen, second screen, share. Now I come back to the my topic. Hide it. Okay, I come back to my topic about understanding of the how web works. So I have just given you the. Hopefully you have all downloaded that eighth day code. That is a little bit of code wherein we have many folders, right? So basic thing is that we say that you are using websites or mobile apps, like you use Google, you use Facebook, you use YouTube's, And by the way, you should have ready your laptops, and especially we need a browser with a incognito mode. Okay, you know incognito mode. So you can create a browser in incognito mode because we have to open up that thing. Okay, so you have to understand how internet has grown and how it works, how browser works, and what is HTTP. Especially the main focus of this topic is HTTP, but you will have a clear understanding of the HTTP and all when you understand the full TCP/IP protocol suite in your networking class. So if you have in future networking class, I would recommend to have tuitions, or at least in your what whosoever is teaching, you should have a clear understanding of networking, because with web developing there are many subjects. There are sister subjects like database management system, like networking, design algorithm, data structures. They are very important subjects. They play good role for hiring you. Some good companies hiring you. So don't think this is only the coding which will help you, because you need to have a clear understanding of everything. You need to have clear understanding of the internet works, how your browser works, how big softwares are built, so how data store algorithm plays role. So if you want to land into some Google or Microsoft or Facebook or somewhere else, you need to have a great deal of knowledge about the data structure and algorithms. Do you understand? I will give you someday the full topic. We put a full topic on that. Right now my primary concern is to understand how the web work. So primary goal is gonna be having the different components of web page. The first, that was your what I have given you, that is the different components of web page, namely HTML, CSS and JavaScript primarily, right? No matter what, if you use the React and all, still it's gonna have these three guys, the components of a web page. So you need to understand clearly how websites load and what protocols are being used, right? And I told you primarily it is the HTTP. Okay, we come to that. So any site you have, there are pages. Okay, they have maybe some images. Okay, and primarily it is the HTML, CSS and JavaScript. So this is your activity. So we have to deconstruct page. So what are the different types of contents you can observe on the page? So what are the different components? So as you could see in it's a Google. So what is it? It's an image, right? There will be some HTML, there will be some CSS, right? So we have Google, it is having image and buttons, text box, and it has links. So is it just HTML? If we have all these things here, or is this only HTML? But primarily it has to be HTML, right? HTML के बगैर चलेगा कुछ नहीं. So लेकिन is it primarily HTML or there is something else also? You already know the answer. So I told you to download from this thing and then click the index.html. Amir has done a great job. He has actually broke everything and put up the things that किस में क्या था, right? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 folders I gave you. Everybody worked on that. By the way, SVG is an image format, and what is SVG is different from the JPEG and PNG. You will have this assignment. Write the assignment, because you need to know. I would have liked it because some, I don't know what kind of students don't understand. Firstly, I would have started from the web designing using the Photoshop course and all, but it will be too long then. Otherwise, it is to understand how Photoshop works, how we design the mockups, how we create those things, and other softwares also. Server just joined, and but I just left that, and I will use some days, reserve some days to create those logos in Canva, for example, or especially we have Canva, and I have the pro version of that, and you can use the free version of that also. And sometimes you use Photoshop to create these logos and PNGs. What is the difference between PNG? Because PNG, you have a logo, so you will create a PNG. Why? Because background, I don't want background with the logo, right? Maybe next class I will create a logo on that. We will create in the next class we create a logo. Just give a small video on that, small lecture on that, how to create a logo. We will create a logo which it doesn't have a background. It's important. So logo should come without a background. That is the PNG comes into play. So you should have an assignment. What is difference between SVG, JPEG and PNG and GIF? Write down. It is very important. The assignments I'm giving you is where your brain works and your repository builds. Okay, so this was the first file. When you had clicked the first file, okay, when you had clicked the first file, what has happened? This thing has happened because the first file was having nothing in it other than HTML. So we know when it is in HTML only, it's gonna be ugly, right? Then I put up into the second an SVG image, and if you see the previous slide, and there the SVG image was not there, okay. But if you go on, there's an SVG image of the Facebook coming up, and rest it is in HTML. So as this is HTML plus image. So if you go to the next second browser, if you have not done it, you click it, the index file, okay, then you will see the Facebook on that. And in the third, there was also the CSS, right? With the HTML, there was an image of this Facebook, okay, which was an SVG image, and also the CSS, which actually created all this layout, okay, and which created these colors in the buttons and a lot of things, right? A lot of things happened. It is really changed from this. If you see this HTML only, it is nothing. But if you see the same HTML, put up some CSS on it, and it's giving us the beautiful colors and this card, white color card, and you see the color of the login is disabled. Create new account is because login is right now disabled and all. So you can put up the things. Forgot password is there. Create page is there, and there are spaces. On must have divided the page into the chunk of blocks using the divs or other kind of things. So you have to learn how to do that. We will see, you will do it yourself later on. But the CSS got it, the design. But what about the JS doing? Now you are putting up the trying to put up the password, and it's telling you that password must contain at least 8 characters or 6 characters. So what is this? This is a logic. This is the logic, because you are trying to tell page that, dude, if the user is putting less than 6 characters, you give the message. So this won't happen without some logic, without some proper programming language, and that's going to be the JavaScript, right? This is very simple, and we have done it before also. So you must be, this is clear, right? So we had an index.html, we have the heading.svg, this is the image file, we got a style.css, and we got a script.js, JavaScript, okay, which make this page, right? If you see this page, so it's not just HTML, so it is all these things. This is HTML, image, CSS, JavaScript. Later on, there will be ton more things. Like there will be audios, there will be videos, and there could be other things also, right? Does it make sense? So this was the folder 2, which was having only what? Index and heading. So that was your image file, right? So CSS actually built this guy, which is very ugly, into the beautiful gentleman, right? Actually, or in our case, from this to this, from this actually to this, right? Making it beautiful. So we understood the CSS is gonna make it beautiful. So we have understood this, so I'm going very fast on it, so I don't want to spend time. In folder 4, we have also the JavaScript. What is gonna JavaScript do? It's gonna build the behavior of it. So what should happen when a button is clicked? Can the username field contain special characters? So enforce that the password need to be 6 characters. So unless the 6 characters are not there, the login stay disabled, right? If the 6 characters is more than that, then the login becomes enabled. So you have to understand this is logic, where you do some working. So if you want to do some working, you have to use the JavaScript, right? And we'll be doing all these things. So this is self-explanatory. You can just see, and so on. Okay, now I'm asking you a question. I'm asking you a question, you have to answer me. You go to some page, whatever the page is, it's just a random page. And there is some dark mode button on the top, right? Say on the top there is a dark mode, right? So there is on top some dark mode. So what component of the page do you think changed? Say for example, we have the Facebook or we have some app, and there is also the dark mode on the top. So if I click the dark mode, everything becomes dark. So what do you say? What will change? Will the HTML change? Will the CSS change? JavaScript or font?
CSS.
So somebody saying CSS change. Yes. Anybody say HTML change? Javed Qureshi has just come up. Wait a second. Everybody will tell me what will change.
CSS.
Somebody saying CSS change. Why you say CSS change? Why not
Uh,
HTML and JavaScript and all?
HTML is a structure. It will not change.
Exactly. Because we are
And
changing only the dark mode. We are only changing the color, right? The look and feel. Oh, okay. So everybody with it, or there should be something else? What are the second questions? Select the correct statement. Okay, everybody be with me because this is gonna be very interactive lesson. You have to do this is hands-on also. This may seem theory, but not, this is not theory. You have to answer me. Everybody, ready and put the mic on and read the question. Select the correct statement. HTML adds color to your page. So HTML is adding color to your page. Firstly, is this correct or this is wrong?
it's wrong.
It's wrong. Sure. All websites with the same HTML will look the same. If two websites have same HTML, will they look same?
No,
Why?
because styling will be done with CSS. There will be a CSS file responsible for this.
Absolutely. So they may have different CSS to look and feel will be different. JavaScript allows us to implement logic on our page. It can also change the content, HTML, and style CSS of the page. Can JavaScript change the style? Okay, we understand JavaScript implements the logic of our page, just we saw before it. But can JavaScript change the HTML as well as CSS of the page? Can it change?
No.
Yes, yes,
It doesn't. I think
yes, it can.
Yes, it
maybe.
can. Yeah, let me cut it short. It can. It can change. We can create HTML buttons on the runtime. अभी बटन नहीं था वहाँ पे. मैं कहता हूँ कि जब ये बंदा क्लियर सारा मुझे देगा तब मैं लॉग इन बटन वहाँ पे चिपका दूंगा. वो था नहीं उधर. So I can use what's called inner HTML. I can change the CSS also. I can use if else. For example, if ये हुआ तो मैं ये CSS लगाऊंगा वरना ये CSS लगाऊंगा. So we can change the CSS also. Right? Okay. Third question. Which of the following file must be present for a web page? It must be present. Every you can have multiple choices here. You can have
HTML.
multiple choices here.
That's name.
HTML तो होना ही होना चाहिए because HTML के बगैर अगर नहीं हो तो फिर स्ट्रक्चर ही नहीं है तो फिर चढ़ेगा क्या. But we are saying that must be present. Image, JavaScript and CSS. ये होने चाहिए नहीं होने चाहिए.
CSS.
अगर CSS नहीं था तो क्या वेब हाँ यस HTML CSS JavaScript. पर अगर हम कह रहे कि मस्ट हैव कि अगर CSS ना हुआ JavaScript ना हुआ इमेज ना हुई तो क्या वेब पेज वजूद में नहीं आ सकता है.
Ah, sir, it can be. We
It
need
can
just
be.
HTML for a web page. We don't need CSS or JavaScript.
Exactly. So we need only HTML which must be there. Then later on putting up some colors and behavior and some imagery, you can do the rest. But that's not necessary, right? That can be there, but उसके बगैर भी काम चलेगा. Now we are saying that you are writing www.google.com, okay? Then which protocol powers the entire internet? Number one, if you write this www.com, what happens to it? Second, which protocol which is powering the whole internet? And what does this page mean if it is telling me, oh no, well, this is unexpected, code 500, very important, and there is a code 500, okay? Because there are specific codes which come from 1x, 2x, 2 triple x, because it's a 3 digit. So 1 double x, 2 double x, 3 double x, or 5 double x. Any codes, we understand this in this session. So if this happens, what does it mean? And sometimes you don't, you say payment, and they say don't refresh, because if you refresh, then you're gonna have resubmit the things and all, right? So what is it happening? So to understand that, we need to understand how browser is loading web pages, and it is the HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol, right? So before we go on the slide, I just give you a little idea about it. Then we go on different on the slide, because slides gives better stuff. That let me say Control A and just hit Del to delete things, and I'm gonna use the pen to draw it. Everybody, carefully listen to me. What as I'm saying is that we have the HTTP. I am telling you again, to understand the brow to understand become the perfect developer, you have a subject called networking in your BCA and MCA and all. Don't take it easy. This is going to be the crux. This is going to be being making a difference between a great developer and a not so great developer, because there are other non-CS students who have gone in the development, but they don't understand the networking, where we have the TCP IP protocol suite, or OSI. The previously we had the OSI model, where we have 7 layers. I will not tell you exactly what is it, but I will tell you just gist of it. Okay, because this is not a networking class. So I am saying there are the layers. What is the first layer? Physical layer, right? You guys, maximum guys have maybe forgot it. What is the next layer? Data link layer.
Data link
Nice. What about next layer?
network
Network layer. What about the next?
transport
Absolutely. Network transport layer.
section
Then
Session.
session. MashaAllah. Some girl also saying that's great. Session layer. Then
presentation
presentation layer. And then
Presentation
application
layer. Application layer.
the application layer. Why I am telling you this whole thing is because I don't care about this thing. Networking guys will deal with this, but I am here in the application layer where HTTP work. Remember one thing: the questions, the interview questions. These are the questions that they ask. You say what protocol they will ask like you. What protocol is required for the transmission of data from client to the server, and you may say HTTP. Then say where in the TCP IP or OSI model it stands. So you have to say it is in the application layer. Do you understand? Remember these points. And this is not whatever I am teaching is not you may say that maybe it's out of context. Not out of context. It is in context. Whatever I am teaching. So HTTP or HTTPS these days is in the application layer, and you have to remember 3 things for this. Okay, you have to remember 3 things, and you have to remember that this is, for example, I will just give you a little idea about, say this is about the understanding of it, like this. I guess Irfan or Suhail asked this question: the REST API. So it is a client and it is a server, and when the data passes in, we actually use the developer side, we use the REST, or what we call as RESTful. RESTful is the which applies REST. Okay, and REST is nothing. Internally it is the HTTP as a tube. Okay, and we arrange structured data using the JSON, and we have the rulings by the REST, because REST is the API, application program interface. We'll have lectures on the REST also. Remember that thing, that's coming later. But I'm just giving the clear little idea that you are as a developer working on a REST. You say REST and RESTful and all, but actually it is the HTTP inside. It is nothing but an HTTP inside in a tube. Okay, the REST is an API working over the HTTP and converting it into structured data using JSON and all. We'll understand JSON how it works later on. Okay, but I'm just giving you a little idea because you need to have an idea, clear idea. So it is the HTTP, dude. You have to go into the networking and dig out the HTTP. So understand how HTTP works. To understand your REST, which is in our course later, right? Or RESTful. We call REST or RESTful API, which makes our connections, especially between the databases and apps. Your app is asking for how much money I have in my bank account. They are using the REST and RESTful APIs, and internally in the tube is the HTTP. Gotcha? Now, In HTTP, I just give you you need to know three things, keep in mind. Okay? You need to keep three things in mind when you say this thing. The first thing what I will tell you is that HTTP is connectionless. It is connectionless. There you will read in networking in depth about connectionless versus connection oriented services. It is connectionless. You know what's the problem with us is in the BCA and MCAs and all, the application is gone. They read networking, but they don't apply on it. They don't apply things. That is the problem. So we should always think about application, and until unless you don't go for application, the concepts become loose. So what is connectionless? Can anyone tell me what's connectionless? Yes.
Yes, I think it stands a request.
Saji voice ma kharab aa raha hai. Your voice is Amir very.
It does not wait for the acknowledgement. That is connectionless, I think.
Yeah, I will give you the little bit idea. Say this is client, and this is my server. Okay. Now client requests something. We will see the get and post and put and delete and everything about the HTTP in this, maybe if the time permits, or in the next lecture of this. Client want to, for example, you are logging into the facebook.com. How it is done? We will see it in the browser in a while. That this is the client which is asking for the server for something. For example, you say www.google.com, right? Maybe I am saying www.moogle.com. Now Moogle is nothing, nobody. For example, Moogle is nothing, for example. But I wrote it. What will happen? So when I say google.com, both of these guys will go to the DNS. Okay? Domain name server, which return the IP address of the Google. You can, by the way, use the dig. You can use the dig command on your command prompt or on the shell. Okay? And then write dig and write google.com. www.google.com. It will get back you the IP address and every information of this. So you can use the dig command, by the way, on the CMD command prompt or on the shell of your MacBook. Now whatever it is, so IP address will come back, which is in numbers. Okay, like 274.240.10.4, whatever, like that. Say for example, it's like this. The IP address comes in, which is actually the address. Now this address will be loaded on the HTTP to the server. HTTP is the protocol which knows how to take this IP address and how to locate the server, remote server, wherever it is. We don't know where it is. It is the HTTP which makes it sure that this IP address is an address which will take you to the server. So firstly, you use the HTTP to request. So what are you requesting? You are requesting actually the index file. You are requesting the index file in the Google server. That's why we call our first website we call it first the index. Because the IP address, it is actually HTTP asking for index file from the server. Right? But the moment it created this connection, okay, it disconnects. It disconnects. Now the server, if it was moogle.com or something, google.com, or it was the wrong IP address or it was the right IP address and all, and depending upon that, the server reconnects. That's important. Server what? It re-establishes connection. Re-establish connection. I'm not writing properly. I don't know what happened to the pen. Re-establish connection and then get back to the client with the HTTP response. So when you are asking google.com, actually you are first connecting to the DNS. DNS will be, IP, your internet service ISP, internet service provider. It will have the DNS server where the directory is there, that if you ask some page, it will tell you what is the IP of it. And then you make a request to the server, and the server side, it understood that you want that google.com's index.html or something like that, and it will give you back, but the HTTP disconnects itself. HTTP does what? It disconnect itself. That means it will not stay. The connection will not hog. There are some reasons, networking reason why. Because we can't hog the connection till the things come. We have to leave it quickly because there's a lot of traffic. So I don't want to teach networking here. I'm just telling about the HTTP. Just why is it connectionless? It's connectionless because it disconnects and the server re-establishes connection and sends HTTP response. So what will be HTTP response? It will be actually the Google's page index.html coming to the client. This is the one thing, right? Okay, understood. Why is it connectionless? Anybody tell me why is it connectionless? Shabash.
Because it disconnects the connection after it gets the response.
Exactly, very good. Number second is HTTP can deliver anything. It can deliver anything unless and until your browser actually reads that. It can deliver anything, whatever it is, right? And third thing is that HTTP is stateless. So what does that mean, stateless? Now why is it stateless? Yes, Suhail has left the networking, I think, long back, so he's not remembering even a dime from that. So anyways,
That in 2016 last time I did.
it's a long time actually. Stateless का मतलब ये है कि आपने HTTP request की. I told you have got a HTTP request. Okay. अब आपने डिस्कनेक्ट किया, फर्ज कीजिए, और वापस रिस्पॉन्स भी आया था, फिर से डिस्कनेक्ट होगा. HTTP तो disconnect hoga because it's why it because it's connectionless service, so it will disconnect. Again you are making the HTTP request, so it will not save the state. The server will not save the state ki baya ye us hui client ye me otamat kariyo ye, no, it will forget. आपने चौथी पांचवी छठी बार भी रिक्वेस्ट मारी, it is as good as you are afresh. So it doesn't remember your state. It's just stateless. Understood? So we have three things in the HTML HTTP. Number one, it's connectionless, it is stateless, it can send any damn thing जो ब्राउजर पढ़ सकता है. ठीक है, ठीक हो गया. So what is HTTP? It is hypertext transfer protocol. It's called hypertext transfer protocol. Yes. So what is it? It's actually a collection of rules, and it combines the client with the server. So browser is your client, right? Who is the client? It's the browser. So what is it doing? It is connecting to the server using the HTTP and all that. We understood this thing. Okay. So let us see this in action now. So let us see this in action. Let me remove this firstly. So you need to open up the Chrome. You first do what? You open up the Chrome and open up the incognito mode, and then we will have, this is the activity, proper activity. So you open a new window on a Google Chrome, okay, and go to the www.https लिखना लेकिन ://www.flipkart.com, लेकिन इनकॉग्निटो मोड यानी कि अगर मैं ब्राउज़र में जाऊंगा यहाँ पे, दिस इज़ द ब्राउज़र, let me Google Chrome, then I go into the incognito mode. Okay, incognito mode, because browser cache and all that will hang up with us. I don't want to mess up with the browser cache. So here you will write, maybe I wrote Flipkart directly and Google will take me there, na? Flipkart.com. Okay, now this is the Flipkart.com. I got the Flipkart.com, right? Everybody got it? Now you can say right click and inspect. Okay, Zuhur Ahmed, admit. So what I said, you go to the browser and use the three dots here and say new incognito window. You got the new incognito window where your browser cache and all will not come into play. It will not store anything for us. so that there will be no issues. Then this is the Flipkart, and I have just actually this is your Flipkart page, and I did what? I opened up, I say right click, and I say inspect, right? So this is what we do. So we said you open up the grab this Flipkart, then you can press Control Shift I or Command Shift I in the Mac, and or you can simply right click and inspect. It will open up the same. Then you go to the network. Then you go to the network here. Then you go to the network. Here's the network. In network, if nothing is coming, you just refresh the browser. Okay? And stay with the network. Okay. 1 second. Where is it gone? Yeah, it's coming up here. It was hidden here. Now you see a lot of things coming up. First thing is the status, which is the code I was telling you 500 last time. The 500 code. Now right now it is coming 200s. And I'll tell you what is it. And it's telling you is XHR, which we discussed a lot last time and all. Right? So if you go to the top, the first page, the first side, the first thing, go up on the first thing when you go for the Flipkart. Everybody done with it? Hanji? So you can press the preset log and disable cache also here. If it is in incognito, you don't need to press the disable cache, but you can. Okay. Everybody doing with me? Hanji? So whatever you see here, firstly, whatever these are, whatever these are, you see tons of things here coming up from the Flipkart side. It is all HTTP requests. All of these are HTTP requests. As you could see, there are 285 requests from my side. Okay? How many requests are there? 285. So what are these? So if you open up anything, it will tell you that what is the status code, what is request method, and the URL and the remote address. Okay, these are very important things what we are discussing. That first is the request method. So what is the request method here? Get. Okay, or can you see it? Can you see it on your browser?
Sir,
Request.
I'm not getting these options. Just one link that is flipkart.com. Nothing more than that.
Click on the flipkart.com only. Click only, just small click.
Yeah.
So you will get the details here, right?
Yes.
Okay, you can also refresh on the top. When you refresh on the top, then the browser will start requesting all the things, all these HTTP requests to get everything, because there are a lot of images, a lot of things. So what is happening in just a second, I tell you what will happen here is, when you say, look here what happens basically. Okay, everybody listen carefully what I'm saying, because I will be asking questions later, so you have to answer me, so you better listen to it carefully. Then you can answer back and you will have a fun when you answer properly. When you are asking www.flipkart.com, okay, flipkart.com, this is the HTML you are asking to the server using the HTTP request. It is going to the server, and firstly it will be going to the DNS. We know that it is going to be actually to the DNS first, right? The domain name server. The DNS gets with the IP address and it goes back to the server now with that IP address. And if it is correct, if there is the HTML file, it will get back your HTML file. So your Flipkart will load just without any images and all, just basic HTML structure of it will come up. Now later on what will happen is the whole page will be parsed. The whole page will be parsed, and it will be seen there are some 500 images, there are these buttons, there are links, there is this thing, then that thing, it has CSS, it has JavaScript. Okay, and depending upon how many items I have in my page, okay, all these HTTP requests will be made individually to the server, and from server the stuff will come, response will come, and the whole page will load. That is why in case of Yasser Rasul, he's saying I have got only one page, that was the HTML coming up. But the moment you refresh and everything comes up, or if the page loads, everything loads, you will have all bunch of things. So this is all here, what I am seeing here is all HTTP requests. Okay, these are all what you getting, everybody, what I'm saying? I said you go to the incognito mode. You can go in simple mode also without incognito, but there is a browser cache and all, so I don't want to mess up with that. Then you just I just refresh here. Firstly I got the for example Flipkart, then I right click and I say inspect, and when I say the inspect I go to the network, and in the network I go, I am seeing nothing right now here because now it's coming up, as you see the things are coming up. Okay, and it is telling me about, I can also say मुझे JavaScript file खाली बताओ कि कौन कौन सी JavaScript file है. I will refresh here. Okay, now you see these are all JavaScript files. मैंने यहाँ पे JavaScript कहा ऊपर इसको कि मुझे सिर्फ बताएं कि मेरे पेज के अंदर कौन कौन सी JavaScript फाइल्स है. तो ये कह रहा है 26 JavaScript फाइल्स अभी है, इतनी रिक्वेस्ट आई है. 116 रिक्वेस्ट में 26 JavaScript की रिक्वेस्ट है. ओके, डॉक अगर मैं बताऊंगा मुझे डॉक दे दो, खाली डॉक. द डॉक फाइल इज द HTML फाइल. ये इंडेक्स, ये फ्लिपकार्ट का index.html होगा. ठीक है, अगर मैं इस पर क्लिक करूंगा तो मुमकिन है कि जो आपका यासिर रसूल है आपने डॉक को क्लिक किया हुआ इधर, सो इसलिए आपको खाली ये क्योंकि एक ही डॉक्यूमेंट फाइल है अभी, दैट इज flipkart.com. और यहाँ पे रिक्वेस्ट मेथड क्या है, गेट, इसके ऊपर बात करेंगे हम. लेकिन स्टेटस कोड आपको 200 दिख रहा है और ग्रीन बटन दिख रहा है, और इसका एक टेक्स्ट दिख रहा है ओके. ओके, इसमें और भी टेक्स्ट आते हैं, हम बात करेंगे उसकी अभी, जैसे मूड आता है एंड सो ऑन. अभी 200 का मतलब है कि रिक्वेस्ट सक्सेसफुल है. दिस इज द कोड. वी अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज 200. आई विल बी आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस, सो यू रिमेंबर दैट थिंग. 200 मींस request is successful. Okay, and it's also giving the IP address of the Flipkart, that's 163.53.17.86. this is the IP address. And what is 443? What is 443? Can anyone tell me?
Port number.
But किसका पोर्ट नंबर है?
HTTPS.
HTTPS, very good, because we are using here HTTPS, that is why it is 443. अगर हमने किसी को मैं पूछूं, अगर हमने कोई ऐसी साइट खोली होती जिसमें HTTP, जैसे आप pizza.com खोलोगे, फ़र्ज़ कीजिए मैं pizza.com खोलूँगा, आप एक दूसरे टैब में लिखो pizza.com, राइट, pizza.com. pizza.com के आप राइट क्लिक करें और इसमें क्या करें काम, आप इंस्पेक्ट करें इसको भी, और नेटवर्क्स पे जाएं. ओके, और यहाँ डॉक्यूमेंट्स पे जाएं. ओके, नाउ इट्स कमिंग, pizza.com इज कमिंग हियर. इस pizza.com पे क्लिक करें और यहाँ देखें क्या आ रहा है, 80 आ रहा है. क्यों आ रहा है 80? उसका मतलब क्या है, HTTP. अगर आप देखोगे इसमें यहाँ पे लिखा है नॉट सिक्योर, ठीक है ना, क्योंकि ये इस पे लिखा है लॉक्ड. ठीक है, ये असाइनमेंट लिखो है, हालांकि ये तो आंसर आ ही गया आपको. व्हाट इज इट, यहाँ पे लिखो लॉक आइकन है ना फ्लिपकार्ट के लेफ्ट में. ठीक है, ये लॉक आइकन का मतलब क्या है, और pizza.com की यहाँ नॉट सिक्योर है. इनफैक्ट इसी सेशन में हो जाएगा आपको क्लियर, बट यू शुड नो दैट कि नॉट सिक्योर यहाँ पे आ रहा है बिकॉज it is using HTTP, that's why the port here is 80. Everybody able to see it on your laptops? And you see the IP address is totally
Yes, sir.
different, but the port 80 is same. So that means अगर मैं कोई और फाइल खोलूँ, मैं किसी और फाइल को अगर खोलूँगा, फर्ज में आई विल ओपन द youtube.com. YouTube इधर ही है, मैं इसको खोल देता हूँ. ठीक है, and I inspect this one. Now I inspect the YouTube. Okay, now I am simultaneously opening the two here the things, right? I go to the network and I check here doc. Wait a second. Now youtube.com is coming. Now it is saying 200 okay from service worker. Okay, it is saying from service worker, and 200 okay. But if I go to down, where is the IP address gone? So oh yeah, IP address won't be here because this is from service worker. So I will tell you what is it. This is a different concept actually from service worker. So these are the if you see here, it is saying okay. For this one is saying okay, and this one is saying from service worker. So what happens in service worker is sometimes you put up your sites, because if you want have maximum times YouTube is being used, so you are not putting the YouTube on the, you are not getting YouTube from the actual server, rather you are putting it in between in browser caches or in some in between ISP domain where you get the, because some site which is being having high traffic. Okay, if the site is having very high traffic, you will not go to the actual server because you want to have a cache of it. Where, say for example, they see in Srinagar people watch Naushid's more, right? Now they will do what? They will put up the buffer stuff into the where, into the ISPs, and so that the speed comes up, so the speed becomes very fast. But my point of contention here is different. That I am saying that if you open two or more HTTP sites, the both of them will have the 80 port. Okay, and but the IP will be different. Okay, now I come back to my this slide. Everybody done with it? Now you must have seen that there is XHR, JS, CSS, you can filter it. Like I filter it. मतलब मैं उसको बोलूँगा भाई साहब मुझे आप खाली, अगर मेरा pizza.com है, मुझे आप सिर्फ जावास्क्रिप्ट फाइल दिखाएं, इसमें कौन कौन सी जावास्क्रिप्ट फाइल है. सो इट्स टेलिंग इज स्क्रिप्ट फाइल. ओके, एक को 307 भी है यहाँ पे. 307 अगर देखोगे आप, यानी कि 307 का मतलब है रीडायरेक्ट हो गया. इट्स सम काइंड ऑफ एन एरर. वी विल कम टू दिस. व्हाट इज 3 सीरीज, व्हाट इज 2 सीरीज एंड सो ऑन. You getting my point what I'm saying? So we have here, this is the that network tab, and we got all of this. What is all of this? What is these? These are the HTTP requests. These are all HTTP requests. And कि क्या वो सक्सेसफुल है या नहीं है, यानी कि सर्वर से फिर वापस रिस्पॉन्स आया ही नहीं, वो ये कोड बताएगा. ठीक है, उसके बाद कि उसका फाइल क्या थी, वो HTML थी, वो जावास्क्रिप्ट थी, कि क्या थी, वो बताएगा उसके बाद. लेकिन ये सारे जो आप देख रहे हो कि जैसे इस पेज पे आ रहे हैं 70 रिक्वेस्ट, तो ये 70 रिक्वेस्ट क्या किसकी रिक्वेस्ट है? HTTP की. दिस आर ऑल HTTP रिक्वेस्ट. सो जो HTTP रिक्वेस्ट हैं, अगर आप जनरल टैब में आप जाएंगे, वहाँ रिक्वेस्ट URL है, रिक्वेस्ट मेथड है, स्टेटस कोड है, रिमोट एड्रेस है, जो ना अभी हमने देखा यहाँ पे, जो इसका यहाँ पे हमने देखा. फॉर एग्जांपल हम जाएंगे pizza.com पे, मैं इसको बताऊंगा भाई मेरे को डॉक्यूमेंट तो दिखा, यानी कि इसका pizza.com का जो मेन पेज है, HTML पेज है, वो ये है. तो इसमें आपको यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे, इसमें क्या क्या है, रिक्वेस्ट URL आ रहा है कि आपने कौन सी URL भेजी थी, मेथड क्या था, गेट था कि पोस्ट था कि क्या था, वो हम अभी देखेंगे कि गेट पोस्ट में क्या फ़र्क है. या पुट आता है. स्टेटस कोड, मतलब स्टेटस कोड का मतलब क्या है कि आया आपके सर्वर ने रिस्पॉन्स ठीक से दिया या नहीं. ठीक है ना, बात आ रही है. रिमोट एड्रेस कौन सा है, एंड सो ऑन. सो ये इनकी बात हो रही थी अभी यहाँ पे. सो ये आपने ऑब्जर्व किया कि रिक्वेस्ट URL कौन सा है, रिक्वेस्ट मेथड क्या है, और रिस्पॉन्स. यानी कि अगर 200 रिस्पॉन्स आ रहा है, उसका मतलब क्या है, इट मीन्स अ सक्सेसफुल रिक्वेस्ट. ठीक है, तो इसका मतलब है कि ये सक्सेसफुल गेट रिक्वेस्ट थी. ठीक है ना. आई विल बी आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस, देयर आर क्वेश्चंस कमिंग अप, सो यू बेटर कॉन्सेंट्रेट. रिमोट एड्रेस यानी कि उसमें दो चीज़ें होंगी, एक तो IP और एक पोर्ट. ठीक है ना. अगर 443 है तो इट इज HTTPS, अगर 80 है तो इट इज HTTP. अब एक्टिविटी आपके पास है, आप कोई भी पेज लो, जैसे google.com है, facebook.com है, pizza.com है, उसमें आपको IP एंड पोर्ट वैल्यू बताना है और रिमोट एड्रेस प्रॉपर्टी बतानी है कि क्या है. तो उसके बाद आपको बताना है कि क्या कोई रिलेशनशिप है बिटवीन पोर्ट नंबर और URL में. इसका आंसर आप ज़बानी देनी चाहिए, देखने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं है. क्या रिलेशनशिप है पोर्ट नंबर और URL में, कि जो पोर्ट नंबर आप देख रहे हो यहाँ पे, पोर्ट नंबर अगर आपको यहाँ पे आ रहा है तो इससे आप मुझे बता सकते हो कि यूआरएल का पहला क्या होगा
80
ना?
means HTTP and 443 means HTTPS.
एग्जैक्टली. सो
Secure.
हम पहले ही बता सकते हैं पोर्ट नंबर से कि भाई साहब इसका क्या था,
Secure.
ये यूआरएल का फर्स्ट पार्ट क्या था, प्रोटोकॉल कौन सा था, है ना?
जी.
Yes, sir.
वेरी गुड. अच्छा, यहाँ पे देखें, यहाँ पे अगर फ्लिपकार्ट पे https://flipkart.com है ना? तो उसका पोर्ट नंबर क्या आएगा आपको? 443.
3.
ठीक है.
जी.
अगर आप लिखोगे https नहीं लिखोगे, आप http लिखो. आप लिखो ब्राउजर में, राइट डाउन http://www.flipkart.com.
ये लॉजिकली रिडायरेक्ट करना चाहिए तब भी HTTPS पे,
हाँ,
ये तब भी HTTPS पे ना रिडायरेक्ट करना चाहिए.
वेरी गुड. बट देखो हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है फिर वहाँ, मुझे बताओ आपका.
हाँ सर, रिडायरेक्ट हो रहा है HTTPS पे.
तो
Yes,
मुझे स्टेटस कोड बताओ क्या आता है, क्या ओके आएगा कि कुछ और आएगा? Oh yes, 301. Very. What is 301 now? You can tell me what is 301.
Redirection.
Exactly. तो क्या पीछे लिखा होगा ओके ना? 301 के साथ क्या लिखा होगा? Moved.
Permanently.
What does that moved means? Moved means कि भाई साहब आपने HTTP मांगा सर्वर को, किसको? सर्वर को. 301 का मतलब है कि सर्वर ने वापस कहा है कि भाई साहब आप HTTP नहीं HTTPS लगाओ प्रोटोकॉल. और अगर ये आया है आपको पेज, तो उसका मतलब है ब्राउज़र ने फिर HTTPS ही लगाया है. हालांकि मांगा आपने HTTP, मांगा आपने क्या? HTTP आपने मांगा इनसिक्योर, लेकिन आया वापस है. अगर आपको मूड, अगर आपको दिखा रहा है 301 मूड, जो मैं भी बता रहा था आपको, समझ आ रहा है?
सर ये एक मर्तबा आप अपने पीसी पर दिखाएं, क्योंकि मैं मुझे नहीं आता.
हम क्या बता रहे हैं कि अगर हमने यहाँ पे इसको कहा http:// उसके बाद कहा हमने www ओके डॉट flipkart.com. Now I give it a go. It's coming back, but it's again coming back with a lock icon, right?
जी सर.
जबकि ये होना नहीं चाहिए था लॉक आइकन, क्योंकि मैंने HTTP किया तो वो इनसिक्योर दिखाना चाहिए, इसकी तरह pizza.com की तरह नॉन सिक्योर दिखाना चाहिए था. क्योंकि ये जो pizza.com है ये असल में क्या है? दिस इज HTTP. दिस इज ओके. अब एक काम करते हैं, इसका जो मेरा ये वाला जो मैंने इसने शॉपिंग कार्ट ये दिया, मैं इसका करूँगा, मैं अब इसमें ये करूँगा इंस्पेक्ट. फ्लिपकार्ट ही है ना, दोनों हैं फ्लिपकार्ट के ही नेटवर्क. मैं नेटवर्क पे जाऊँगा, ओके, डॉक पे जाऊँगा, थोड़ा रिफ्रेश मारें आप. ये आ गया फ्लिपकार्ट, यहाँ पे आ गया. ओके. अब इसने, हाँ, मगर इसने रिडायरेक्ट किया मुझे, इसने रिडायरेक्ट नहीं किया, इसने एक्चुअली खुद ही किया है, क्योंकि मेरे पास ऑलरेडी खुला था ना यहाँ पे.
जी जी जी.
हाँ, मेरे पास
अब
खुला
मेरे-
था एक्चुअली. इट शुड हैव डन व्हाट, इट शुड हैव टोल्ड मी कि यहाँ पे 301. हाँ, बिकॉज ये जो है ये HTTP नहीं हुआ, इसने खुद डायरेक्ट किया, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी वहाँ से खुला था मेरे ख्याल से. http:// मैं फिर एक बार फिर से टाइप करता हूँ फ्लिप, मुझे लगता है मुझे मत हो गया इसमें ऑटो राइटिंग में, flipkart.com. इनफैक्ट यहाँ पे www.flipkart.com. ओके, क्योंकि शायद लिखने में हो गया एंटर. नाउ इट्स कमिंग अप, ओके, इनटू द डॉक. दूसरी बार आ गया मैं. हाँ,
2 रिक्वेस्ट है, दूसरा 301.
आ रहा है. हाँ देखो,
जी जी जी.
ये आ गया ना. अब देखो,
जी जी जी.
ये आ गया 301 मूड परमानेंटली. जब आप 301 कोड देखते हो, उसका मतलब है कि रिस्पॉन्स तो आया, रिस्पॉन्स आया है, ठीक है, लेकिन मूड परमानेंटली का मतलब ये होता है कि सर्वर ने ब्राउज़र को रिक्वेस्ट मारी वापस कि भैया HTTP नहीं HTTPS करो, और फिर वो हुआ भी, और इसका रिस्पॉन्स भी यहाँ पे जो स्टेटस कोड आया उसने बताया है कि हमने कि ये चीज़ हुई है. तो जब आप कहीं पे देखोगे 301 उसका मतलब है, अगर आप 2 सीरीज देखोगे 200 सीरीज उसका मतलब है सक्सेसफुल। अब इसमें बहुत सारी है, लेकिन अगर 3 सीरीज देखोगे उसका मतलब है कि मूड।
Direction.
यस, डज इट मेक सेंस नाउ?
Yes, sir.
नाइस। सो response header contains more information about HTTP response. अब response header कहाँ से आ गया? response header यहाँ पे है कि आप नीचे जाएं, ये response header आपका है, ठीक है ना? response header जो नीचे है उसमें और भी मालूमात है हमारे पास, ठीक है जी। जैसे आपका ये बताएगा कि भाई साहब वर्जन कौन सा है आपका, चीज़ें क्या क्या, जैसे हम इसके ऊपर जाएंगे अभी, ये वाला जो मेरे पास है इसके response header पे जाएंगे हम, ठीक है ना? मुझे तो दिख नहीं है रेस्पॉन्स हेडर कहाँ पे है। हाँ, ये यहाँ पे रेस्पॉन्स हेडर, ये है ना, ये रेस्पॉन्स हेडर हमारा है, इसको खोलेंगे हम। तो यहाँ पे आपको बताएगा कि भाई साहब कि आपने और भी चीज़ें इसमें हैं कि आपने कहा कि मैं कैश कंट्रोल नो कैश, क्योंकि हमने ऊपर नो कैश कर दिया था, यहाँ पे डिसेबल कैश किया था। ओके, कुकीज़ है कि नहीं है, और भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें होंगी, और एनकोडिंग कौन सी होगी, वो सारी चीज़ें इसमें हो जाएंगी, ठीक है। ओके, damn it. Where's the browser gone? Can you guys hear me? I don't think you guys can hear me. So we said that there's a response header also where you can have, content type kya hai or server kaun sa hai, and this is very important. Tell me about the servers. What servers you have? Yeah, tell me about the servers, because this is the question coming up also. फ्लिपकार्ट का कौन सा सर्वर था? आप रेस्पॉन्स हेडर में ढूंढें कि फ्लिपकार्ट, हमने 3 साइट्स खोली ना, यूट्यूब खोला हमने, फ्लिपकार्ट खोला हमने, और भी कुछ खोला था हमने, pizza.com हमने खोला था। अब इस तीनों में से आप बताएं कि pizza.com का क्या सर्वर है और आपका फ्लिपकार्ट का क्या सर्वर है, इन दो का मुझे बताएं। जस्ट गो ऑन अ पेज देयर, जैसे ये हो गया आपका pizza.com, और रेस्पॉन्स हेडर में जाएं, और रेस्पॉन्स हेडर में आप ढूंढें इनका सर्वर।
NGINX फ्लिपकार्ट का।
एग्जैक्टली, जेनिक्स, और यहाँ अपाची है ना। सो pizza.com सीधे अपाची आपके PHP में बना होगा, और आपका अपाची सर्वर इसका है, ठीक है। सो ये क्वेश्चन आने वाला है अभी आपके पास, सो यू शुड बी एबल टू आंसर, राइट। यस, सर्वर से हमें ये भी पता चलेगा कि देर इज़ ऑल्सो द क्यूरियस कैट्स विच आर सम क्वेश्चंस, मैं आपको भेजूंगा बाद में, सो इसलिए इसको बंद ही कर, फिलहाल आगे चलते हैं। ये इसका आंसर आपको मुझे बताना है। अच्छा जी, आप बता रहे हैं कि फ्लिपकार्ट का क्या सर्वर है। इज इट पॉसिबल टू टेल द सर्वर
Linux.
सॉफ्टवेयर विच फ्लिपकार्ट यूजेस बेस्ड ऑन एनी ऑफ द HTTP response headers? We say yes, we can do this. Yes, we saw it right now, right? So it is the Genix.
Linux.
Yeah. So correct answer is Genix, because you have gone there in the server there, okay? The response header, in the response header there's a server, it can tell you what is there, right? So if you want to find the server of any website, what are they using? Again, you can use the HTTP, because this is coming from the HTTP request, that we can do that. And if you want to read more on this stuff and all, then you have to go to this file, okay? I just copy this and I will send you into the chat. I will do it maybe later. Where is that? Mern stack assignments. I think read it, huh? Come on, B. I don't know what happened here. No, it's not getting. I will do it later on, okay? There's a lot of windows open actually. Anyways, so read this page, because I will give you a little bit more to read. Okay, tell me about this thing. Which of the following aren't true? You have to say which aren't true, okay? And you have to select all that applies.
Which are the following on?
HTTP fetch request method is used to fetch a resource.
No.
No. So this the tick इसको आएगी कि नहीं आएगी? आएगी simply और दिए भी हैं tick. HTTP GET request method is used to fetch a resource.
Yes.
Yes, so
Yes,
it is
sir.
true. What about the next one? Is it true or false? HTTP 200
Yes, sir, it's
response.
true.
Yes, yes.
Is it true?
Yes, sir.
Yes, true.
Content successfully loaded. Yeah? और
True.
in
Yeah.
fact 200 के बाद क्या आएगा? Okay. आएगा ना?
Okay.
What about HTTP 404 response? Status code denotes
Yeah,
content
it's an
successfully
error
loaded.
response code. It's not the successful code.
Exactly. So therefore it is wrong. So blue में जो दो है वही आंसर है. ठीक है? Let's go
Yes,
little
sir.
explanation of it. So इसमें दो ही आएंगे correct answer HTTP fetch and HTTP 404. But what is fetch? Is it is not a valid HTTP request method. The get request method वो ठीक है वही fetch करता है. जब आप fetch करना चाहते हो कोई चीज़ तो वो get ही आएगा. और जो 200 आपका है वो रिस्पॉन्स कोड है और 404 डिनोट्स रिसोर्स नॉट फाउंड. जो 404 जो आपका अक्सर आता है कि जब वो फाइल वहाँ नहीं होती है जो आप मांग रहे हो तो वो क्या कोड दिखाता है 404. तो मशहूर कोड है ना 404 इज़ द मशहूर कोड. 404 आ जाता है बड़ा सा कि भैया उसका मतलब क्या है कि रिसोर्स नॉट फाउंड.
Not found.
Yes. So I think it's a long slide, We are on just on the 39th of this, but there are a lot of slides to go. There are like 60 slides. But this is the end we do today because many students have slept, I think, and we are getting late also. But I think this slide should be clear. Each and every piece of this slide should be clear for you now. At least from this session, you have understood each and every piece of it. So what do you know about web? The first thing, that HTML, CSS, JavaScript make up a web page. Sure. HTML, what you see, CSS, how you see it, and JS, logic and interaction. Then we read about the HTTP. It's a protocol that transfers the data between the client and the server or the machines, whatever you like to call it. Can there be multiple HTTP requests? Yes, sir.
Yes.
Because to fetch HTML, to fetch JS, to fetch images, to fetch anything, you have a separate HTTP requests. So there is not just a one HTTP request. There are tons of requests as we saw here. In the request you see here, if I say all, though it is telling me around 37 right now in the pizza.com, but if I say here all in my Flipkart, because Flipkart is a heavy site, so it's going on. Okay, 408, 4010 requests. What are these requests? These are all HTTP requests, right?
Yes, sir.
Nice. So we have multiple HTTP requests. So and we have Chrome developer tool. So what is the Chrome developer tool doing? It's kind of an X-ray vision into the browser, right? We are doing the X-ray of the browser and seeing inside out of the browser, right? And not only that, we can see the network only. We can see the other things like we can see HTML, we can see CSS, and we can see code of the site and everything in the. So it's kind of like an X-ray of the browser. Do you agree? So what is the HTTP request method? It defines the action to be done, है ना? Request method. Request method हम पढ़ेंगे next time. इसके बाद जो next lecture हमारा होगा उसमें get भी है, post है, put है, delete है. तो उनसे क्या पता चलेगा कि आप क्या करना, कौन सी एक्शन करना चाहते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम फेसबुक की बात करेंगे उसमें कि आप फेसबुक में लॉगिन आपने गलत किया, लॉगिन आपने सही किया, अब आप स्टेटस अपडेट कर रहे हो, ऑलरेडी कोई चीज़ थी उसको आपने मॉडिफाई किया, तो उसमें आपका जो ये रिक्वेस्ट मेथड है वो आपको बताएगा कि गेट है, क्या पोस्ट है, क्या या पुट है, या डिलीट है, या क्या है. डू अंडरस्टैंड? सो HTTP रिक्वेस्ट मेथड विल टेल आपने कौन सी एक्शन की. और स्टेटस कोड क्या बताएगा कि क्या सक्सेसफुल है, जैसे मूड है जो हमने किया है, बाकी चीज़ सारी चीज़ें. और HTTPS, it is more secure than the HTTP. We saw there is a lock icon on the top for the HTTPS. IP एड्रेस एंड पोर्ट, ये दो चीज़ें हमें चाहिए सर्वर को जाने के लिए ना. IP एड्रेस बताएगा कि कौन सा सर्वर है एंड इट विल बी डिफरेंट फॉर ऑल अदर सर्वर्स. और जो पोर्ट नंबर है वो सेम ही रहेगा कि आपने कौन सा प्रोटोकॉल किया है ना. अगर HTTPS आपने किया तो कौन सा प्रोटोकॉल होगा? 443. Remember these things because interview these questions are asked. What is the port number of HTTPS? What is the port number of HTTP? Right? So 80 and 443, remember this thing. Request and response headers. उसमें एडिशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन है जो अभी हम इससे पहले बात कर रहे थे कि उसमें इन्फॉर्मेशन आपकी एडिशनल इन्फॉर्मेशन है, जैसे कि सर्वर कौन सा है ना, कि आपको सर्वर ढूंढना है कि सर्वर कौन सा है, तो वो आपको किस में आ जाएगा, रिस्पॉन्स हेडर के अंदर। ओके, अगर हम डिप्लॉय करेंगे अपनी साइट को, जैसे यासिर बोल रहे थे कहीं पर हम इसको होस्ट करेंगे या मैंने कहा गिटहब पे करेंगे, उससे क्या होगा कि आपकी साइट SSL बनेगी सबको। सो आई थिंक this slide is clear, and I think we are very clear about now HTTP. We are clear about its services, and we are clear about many things today, but there are a lot of things to know further, right? Any questions regarding today's session till I wind up? Now actually starts how HTTP protocol, how it is used and all. So we'll do that in a lecture, and we will use some maybe some like postman and all to do it, how to do it. You tell me, but that will be, we do it, maybe we continue this thing on Thursday, because from Monday we start building something, we continue with the HTML, and we keep one day for these stuff, say Thursdays and all. We will do classes like this: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 3 days, then 1 day break, and Friday. We do like this, so that there will be a little gap in between. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we do only the HTML फिलहाल हम प्रोग्रामिंग करेंगे, और जो हमारा फ्राइडे आएगा, फ्राइडे हम इन चीज़ों को पकड़ेंगे. So we continue this class on Friday, this thing. So we want to dig more into the HTTP now. But from Monday we will start putting up the logos on our, designing our web page more now. Right?
Yes, sir.
I think that's all for today then. If you have any questions, you can ask me later also. So see you next time.